Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one.
Yeah. Man.
I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Mike Washington is on assignment. We might end up getting AD Drew. It looks like we have Charles in here ready to do his thing. AD Drew is joining us all the way out from the West Coast, the left coast, as some people call it. Seems like something is big there. Before we jump and get these guys going, let me do the proper welcome. Welcome to episode 624 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports, with institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. In short, we just like to call it HBCU sports pedagogy. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington Childs Bishop, coming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KXWH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer, that's Ralph Cooper, in a beautiful home at Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. Charles, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Doctor. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got some the King of the Bat start this weekend. We missed the basketball season. The golf team left going somewhere today. So we got a lot of stuff going on here.
Got a lot of stuff going on. And you're calling the game tomorrow, the Cactus Jack Classic, as we have the BCS team there doing the production. So a lot of moving parts. And you see AD Drew, part of the BCS team, Sports Rap, specifically with Brian in his show. He's out in California, Oakland, that is, San Francisco to be specific, in terms of the Golden State Warriors representing for the HBCU NBA Classic. AD Drew, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Let's see. Tired, jet lag. It's raining out here. It's cold. Thought we was gonna get a 2-hour break. I got my team here with me. We thought we was gonna get a 2-hour break. Then we decided to jump on your show. And right after I call you to jump on your show, I get a phone call from the NBA for ask me for even more information. So we're rolling.
Yeah.
But that being said, you got to introduce your team there. You can't have them on the camera and not be chivalry a part of your team and not introduce these talented individuals.
Well, I'm gonna introduce them. I'm gonna let them just do their elevator speech. To my left is Gianna McDonald. We call her Gigi, and she is right now this week. She is the one who's actually coordinating all of the interviews for the players, the coaches, and all that stuff. So she's getting that experience closely working with with all the different outside entities, be it a Morehouse entity, HBCU entity, NBA, ESPN, mom and pop, whoever it is. She's the one who's coordinating those right now. And to my right is Layla, and she is kind of filling in all of the other blanks that we're doing, content creation, you name it. She's kind of filling in the other blanks for us. So I'm gonna let them quickly let them tell you where they're from and everything else.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Gigi. I am a sophomore English major at the Spelman College, and I'm an aspiring sports broadcaster. So I'm here working under the athletics department at Morehouse. I'm an intern under AD Drew and AD Ellis. I'm also a student sports journalist. And so that's just a little bit about me, and I'll pass it over to Layla.
Congratulations, Gigi. Keep up the great work. Very talented,
Layla.
Hello, everyone. My name is Layla Sarafiel. I'm a sports and entertainment business major. I'm an aspiring broadcaster and agent myself in sports and entertainment. Like Drew said, I do damage control in every facet, whether it's the books or the table, anything. So I do marketing and sports direction under the athletics program.
Ladies, job well done. We wish you all the
Congratulations.
best, and I'm glad that we get a chance to put y'all out front, and y'all did a great job doing it. 80 Drew, before we get into some other news, I think this is some big news. So certainly tell us, for those that missed it some kind of way, why are you in California and San Francisco?
Just this little event called the HBCU NBA Classic. It's going to feature my alma mater, Tuskegee, versus my employer, Morehouse, at 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Mountain, and 2 o'clock Pacific time on Saturday. That game will be available on 3 networks. That will be ESPN, that will be True TV, and also NBA TV. So whatever your app of pleasure is, you should be able to catch the game. Now, I hope I don't cut my brother Charles off, because I know he's going to be doing some Cactus Jack during that time. But, y'all need to figure out, y'all need to record one of us and watch the other one live. I don't care which one you do. Long as we get the click in the algorithm, let's both get our fair due here. So we got in at about 12 o'clock local time here.
Yeah.
We left Atlanta at 8:20 this morning. A lot of us have been up since 3 or 4 o'clock Eastern time
Some of us didn't
this
go to
morning.
sleep.
Some did not go to sleep.
It's an entire production happening.
Yeah, but we're grateful nonetheless.
Yeah.
Tuskegee
complaints.
is on their way. We actually got out. They actually got delayed by weather, so Tuskegee has not arrived yet. So once we hit ground here, we immediately went to shoot around at the Oakland Arena. And you can go to my Facebook page, my Twitter, and my Instagram and see some of the photos that I've uploaded to those from there. And we'll have more content coming out over the next couple of days. Some of it will be live, some of it will be once we get into the editing room.
Good stuff, good stuff. Charles, let's get back some of the HBCU news of the day. Or do you want to follow up with a question? Which direction you want to go?
I was jumping into the news of the day, but AD, I wanted to just say, man, congratulations. You all are doing a great job. I've been following the content that you've been putting out thus far, you and your picks thus far, AD. So looking forward to a big weekend from all of you all out there. So congratulations.
And also, it's no fun without a dub. Just got to say that.
There it is. Let's take a look at some news around the HBCU world. MEAC, they announced their women's weekly basketball honors. Howard's Nina Thomas was the player of the week. Delaware State's Erica Huggins was named the rookie of the week. And North Carolina Central's forward Jada Tiggett was the defensive player of the week, respectively. Thomas averaged 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 steal this past week for the Bison as they went 2-0. Huggins posted a double-double. 20 points, 13 rebounds, adding 3 assists and 3 blocks and 2 steals in the win over Virginia University of Lynchburg. And then Tiggett, the defensive player of the week, averaged 8.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, 4 blocks, 2.5 steals, a partridge in a pear tree against Norfolk State. Tiggett registered 6 blocks, setting a new season high, while setting a new season high in steals in the 3 games against Howard. So congratulations to those young ladies for being the players of the week in the MEAC. Got some superlatives in the SWAC as well, Doc.
Good stuff. Go ahead and kick that off as well.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the SWAC Women's Player of the Week honors. We take a look at Cheyenne Evans was the Player of the Week. Alicia Wilson from Alabama A&M was the Impact Player of the Week. Aaliyah Henderson was the co-newcomer of the week, along with Bethune-Cookman's Asianae Nicholson. So those were your players of the week over there in the SWAC. Cheyenne Evans, huge this past week for FAMU in terms of what she was able to get done. She was a key contributor this past week. She averaged, get this, Doc, 17 points per game with 14.5 rebounds. Aaliyah Henderson, 12 points this past week for Texas Southern Lady Tigers as they remain undefeated in league play. And Asianae Nicholson from Bethune-Cookman, she averaged a double-double this past week versus Alabama A&M and Alabama State, averaging 13 points to go along with 12.5 rebounds per game. So those were your SWAC Women's Players of the Week.
Good stuff, good stuff. GG, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, allow you to show up. What HBCU is the news of the day for you? What's on your mind? What you think of some good news that you'd want to share with everybody out there?
And if you don't have it, I got a little cheat sheet right here of the notes that he sent out just in case. You might
Oh,
want to
because when you initially asked that question, I was gonna, root for my HBCU.
like Cedric Taylor being named SIAC Player of the Week.
Right.
Right.
That's a highlight. Shout out the Maroon Tigers and shout out Cedric Taylor III for his accomplishment.
Right.
Proud of him.
Perfect.
30 points in a game, or was it 29?
29. He pulled about.
Almost 30
Yeah.
points in the last game. So we're definitely proud of him. He's a hard worker for sure.
Layla, go ahead. Your turn. Do your shout out. What do you want to get out there?
And
job,
let me
Gigi.
tell you, we're very prideful in our school, so I'm going to piggyback off that and give my round of applause to Morehouse for their season thus far. They've had the historical win against Howard University this season. We look forward to creating history. Right, we look forward to creating history again this Saturday. So we are looking forward to making history at Morehouse, as we always do. Yeah.
Good job. One last time, Drew, give us where everybody can, the time and where everybody can check out the show for those there, how they can get tickets.
Tickets, you can actually, the easiest way to get your tickets, if you have not gotten tickets and you're in the Southern California the Northern California area, just log on to morehouseathletics.com. The link for the All-Star game and the tickets and everything else is right there on the homepage. There is a discount code. I think it is still valid. So don't call me. I'm out of tickets. Don't call me and ask me for tickets. I am completely out of complimentary tickets. If you choose to watch, once again, that is on ESPN, True TV, and NBA TV, beginning at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific time. So I thought you was gonna let me say that that SWAC baseball awards came out, preseason awards, and I just wanted to get out there. My alma mater has the preseason pitcher of the year, Caleb Granger. So, but I couldn't do that, and it wouldn't be fair to Charles if I didn't say his alma mater had Jordan McClady as the preseason player of the year. So I just, you didn't ask me, Doc, but I just had to put it out there.
I think you did an excellent job of sneaking that in there. Great job. With that, let's go to our first break. We'll come back on the other side. We have some big things waiting for you. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Gigi. Thank you, Layla, for getting in here.
Appreciate y'all, Doc. Appreciate you, Chuck.
Enjoy yourself.
Morehouse College and Tuskegee University men's basketball teams were selected to compete in the 2025 NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T. The fourth annual NBA HBCU Classic will be played in the Bay Area as part of NBA All-Star 2025 and will once again celebrate the rich traditions, on-court athleticism, and commitment to excellence of the HBCU community. For tickets, visit nba.com/all-star.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loot machine.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to The Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Looking to see if we can get in this interview. Not sure if we're pulling in. We should have Dr. Brian and Dr. Mickey Allen, see if he's joining us as well. We do have Dr. Bryant, that is the Director of Athletics at Alabama A&M. We'll see if we can pull in Dr. Allen. He's on the road, I know, as he's working with Tennessee State and the basketball team. Dr. Bryant is in Houston to support the baseball program that's in the Cactus Jack Classic, as well as cheat coding as his Bulldogs are on the road at Pine Bluff. So if you see him glaze a little bit at the phone, don't worry, he's not distracted. He's just making sure that a big play is being made there. Double duty, that's what you do as the Director of Athletics, particularly at the HBCU level, really at any level. But it's great to have you join us here today as we're working with your partner as well. But we'll get into it. One of the things we wanted to talk about, among other things, is the announcement of this 4-year deal between Alabama A&M and Tennessee State in terms of a football series.
Yes.
But as we get going into that, we're going to save that a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about just your program since we have you here, Alabama A&M. What has been going on with the Bulldogs? What has you excited thus far this season, and some of the things outside of sports that you're building around the program?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you. And Doc and Charles, you know, it's always great to see you guys, and I appreciate you all having me on. What's going on at A&M? We have a lot going on. You know, this is the crossover season for all of our sports, and we're excited. I have to start off with our men and women's basketball. Our women are playing now. They're playing at Pine Bluff. Just for a quick update, we're up 11-2 with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Good job. Get that in.
Yeah, got to get that in. Our basketball team, both teams will be playing Saturday at Valley. So, you know, it's that time in baseball. We're here in Houston about to play in the Cactus Jack. But I would like to also say our softball team, they played last weekend. They opened up last weekend, and we went 4-0 in the tournament. So we are. I think our sports are trending up. Our golf team, they showed off a little bit yesterday about.
I saw the reveal.
Yeah, the reveal of their gear, and so you know that shows me that our student athletes, our sports, they're excited about what they get, with how they look, how they're going to play, and so those are the things that are happening. And I have to mention this. Sunday was a big day for Alabama A&M. We had a commercial that was on Super Bowl, and they showed it twice during Super Bowl, and we've heard a lot of things about how much it costs and that sort of thing, but I have to say our president, Dr. Daniel K. Williams, and our vice president of development and marketing and communication, Jamal Ali, they had a vision to expose Alabama A&M to the world, and that was showing our commercial that spotlighted our students, and I thought it was fantastic. So those are a couple of quick things that are going on at Alabama A&M.
Roy, if you could check the mail, if you would check, I think Dr. Mickey Allen is in the background trying to join, so we want to bring him on and don't belabor the point. I know we got a lot of folks doing double duties, but we'll try to get you in. Dr. Allen, I know you're right in the mix. We apologize for that. But with that, Charles, let me allow you to ask Dr. Brian a follow-up question.
Sure, and let me start here in terms of kind of a two-parter in following HBC sports. You know, these two programs, they've played a home and away in men's basketball over the last several years. But I wanted to ask, what has been the reception by the fans regarding that arrangement? And then I guess the second part of that, did that help in any way in the partnership between the two institutions for the football series?
Yeah. So Dr. Allen and I, we're good friends, and we began to talk about this. We we're playing in basketball, and so they came over a year ago, and Dr. Allen and I sat at half court and watched the game. He and I began to have conversations about not only just doing it here on the court, but getting involved in football. And yeah, it took some restructuring and some things, but we wanted to make it happen because our fans, that's what they wanted. They wanted to see that. I don't think we played since 2010, and they wanted to bring that rivalry back. But it took Dr. Allen and I to really sit down and talk about the legacy of both institutions and what it would mean to that legacy to bring that game back. And we were able to do it and do it for 4 years. And we're not only looking for 4 years. We've done it for 4, but we're going to look beyond that because we're separated by just a few miles, and I think that it just makes sense. It makes sense, and not only make business sense, but it makes common sense as well. And so we wanted to ensure that our fan bases were a part of a tradition that will last forever.
Let's take a quick break. We'll see if we can take the second break, come back in, and bring Dr. Allen in with Dr. Bryant as he's waiting in the background. We'll take our next break and come back on the other side.
Yes, sir.
Planning an event from weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, we provide versatile event planning and authentic catering cuisines tailored to your needs. Whether it's pre-game meals for student athletes, fundraisers, weddings, corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC is your one-stop solution for exceptional service and unforgettable food. Our diverse culinary heritage means we cater to all cultural tastes, dietary needs, and food restrictions, making every meal uniquely yours. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Visit us on all social media at CMJ Events LLC or email us at cmjeventsllc@gmail.com. Also give us a call at 404-664-3882 so that we can start planning now.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
When you're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics, there's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Ville inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Looks like we have Dr. Mickey Allen getting in there. You know that Wi-Fi will do you, so he's spinning in a circle. We'll work with him to see if we get in. At least he knows it's not us on our side. There he goes. Just like a tiger, right on time. Right time. Dr. Mickey Allen, welcome to Dr. Ville's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. It's good to have you. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great, man. I appreciate you all having me on. I'm playing Eastern Illinois tonight, so my ladies are in there competing. So I said, hey, let me take some time to talk to my good HBCU foe, Mr. AD Paul Bryant, Dr. Bryant,
My dog.
and, and Dr. Casey.
Dr. Brian is cheating like you. He got his little phone. Show him again.
Okay.
So don't let it say in the HBCU sports world, don't let it be said that these are not the hardest working ADs in the business. You see what they do. Not only are they behind getting deals done, they're actually supporting the teams. They're actually traveling on the phone, doing whatever. And these are multiple sports, with that being said. As we talked about Dr. Bryant and gave him a chance to kind of open up, we're going to give you a chance to talk a little bit about Tennessee State before we talk about this series. You know, what has you excited this season about your Tigers? Obviously had a great season in football. Things are getting going well in basketball on the men's side as they've kind of bounced back over the last couple of games. They won, 5 of the last 6, I think it is.
Absolutely.
4 of the last 6, 2 straight, playing really good basketball now. Women, new program. They've probably got a couple of wins of late, so they're even playing better this part of the season. But overall, what are the state and your thoughts of Tennessee State, the program?
Yeah, so the state of our program, I released a strategic plan for our athletics program called Tigers Forward. And the reason we named it that, we all know the great history and lineage and legacy of TSU athletics, from the great Wilma Rudolph to Richard Dent to great coaches and John Merritt, Coach McClendon. But, you know, you reach a point whereas you're trying to replicate the success that we had in the 60s and 70s, 80s, and then early 90s as well. And you're trying to do it in a modernized space right now whereas you got NIL and you got all of these moving parts. We're really fluid in the collegiate space, but we're trying to get back to the success that we had. And I believe we're doing that. We're continuing to build on great leadership with our head coaches. You mentioned Candace Dupree. I hired her to lead our women's program. Coach George had a phenomenal season, first time in 25 years. And we got back to having a share of championship. And we had an opportunity to play in the FCS playoffs, which was a great win for us. And in basketball, we're in a basketball conference in OVC. And so with Murray State, you know, they left and went to the Missouri Valley along with Belmont. And Austin P went to the ASUN. And so it's wide open for us. And I've talked to Coach Penny and talked to him about us being where we are in Nashville with a lot of talent. It's a very fertile area for recruiting. I think we should be either not winning it every year, close to, or staying on somebody's heels, right, every year. And so I want to get to March Madness. Paul knows, hey, it's nothing like March Madness. And so
Allen said he want to put some dancing shoes on.
Gremlin had some success last year. I know Paul's trying to get there. And so Saul Howard has some success as well. And then Norfolk State has always represented HBCUs very, very well in that tournament. So that's the next push for us. Competitively, I think we got good programs, and we're just going to continue to thrive in the city of Nashville.
I got one more question that I kind of want to level set and set up. Then I'm going to pass it to Charles to ask the question to both of y'all. From both of y'all's perspective, we'll start with you, Dr. Bryan, and then Dr. Allen. Give us some insight for those that may not know. How do you go about scheduling? How does it work, particularly in the sport of football and or basketball? How do each of you, in your individual way, set up scheduling for those that may not be aware of that process? Go ahead, Dr. Bryan.
Okay, first of all, we look at our conference schedule. That's first. Look at the games that we're having. You want to look at how many home games versus how many away, and then the neutral site games. So for us, we are looking at, this coming year, 2025, I needed to be on the road because in 2026, I will have more on games than I needed. So what I do is, first of all, look at the conference, then see who's in proximity of where we want to go, because we're always looking at the travel. The travel is critical because travel has gone up. So we're trying to stay within budget. And in doing so, we have to look regionally. And of course, there's a lot that people try to get us to play the money games, the Power 5 games. And I'm a firm believer in a lot of cases, if we were to do it correctly, we could actually make that type of money at our facilities, and that's why I think as you lead into it, that's why this series was so critical for us, because with both of our fan bases, we believe that we could do more on our campuses than we would have received going elsewhere.
Appreciate that. Dr. Allen, your perspective?
Yeah, that was a very thorough answer from a doctor, great Dr. Brian. But but very our viewpoint on scheduling is very similar, very much alike. Anytime you're scheduling non-conference opponents, you're trying to be strategic. You're looking at the opportunity to play regionally because of so many of the associated costs from travel costs. Obviously, we both have great performance bands, so you got to factor that in as well, because you do want your bands to attend. You want, especially if you go on the road, you want to have a game that's very engaging to your constituent groups and stakeholders and alums as well. And so, like we do look at opportunities to play Power 4 institutions now because of the guarantees that are there. We had $1 million guarantee that I established with Notre Dame. Our fans went and they had a great time. We were able to get experiences at other campuses. I think that's very important as well. But when you're scheduling Power 4 games, you want to be very conscientious of the fact that, you want to be competitive, but you don't want to put your young people, young men in harm's way. You want them to have a great experience, but also be ready to come back subsequently after that and compete in conference, right? And so when we looked at this game, it was an opportunity for us to really play someone within our regional footprint. Great rivalry that used to be. We hadn't played them since 2010. And then when I called, and me and Dr. Brian spoke, we've been playing each other in basketball. So we felt it was a great opportunity on the heels of our basketball series that we've had. I think over the last 4 years, we played 3 times.
Right.
Been very competitive games, high quality games. And so we just felt it'd be a unique opportunity from a branding standpoint to really lock in something that was consistent for a 4-year period and had an opportunity to generate revenue for our programs.
Good information. Yeah, I appreciated the educational components of what was set up with Notre Dame. Really, really good job there. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to follow up on what you were saying in regards to sort of the branding of this unique series. Are there any special components to the marketing for the series or the branding opportunities associated with this series beyond what is normal?
Go ahead, Doc.
Okay, yeah. So when you look at branding, we know in the HBCU culture, it's music, it's entertainment value, a great tailgating atmosphere, and then you cannot forget merchandising opportunities, right? And so when you think about apparel, there's going to be an opportunity with this series really to provide what me and Doc would say is co-branded merchandise,
yes.
Very exclusive, right, around the game, featuring both brands.
Yep.
We feel that there's some opportunities in the merchandising realm to really generate revenue. And then when you look at just other things that would really show school pride, there's some stuff that we definitely are going to collaborate on from a marketing standpoint. Both of our SIDs have been in touch. Both of our marketing departments have already connected. And when you think about social media campaigns, just generating the excitement around the game prior to the contest here, September the 13th is the first one. So we want to make sure I'm going to take a visit, a pilgrimage in the Huntsville community, really sit down with Doc and his staff and really learn the campus and learn the environment, because on our end, that's what we're selling to, right? We want them to come down the Interstate 65, come to our place, and then we want to make, Nashville a very hospitable place, but make sure that they have opportunities in our area to really engage their alums. There are a lot of alums that went to Alabama A&M in the city of Nashville and vice versa.
Right.
I got best friends who now kids, we lost them to A&M. I'm saying, but no, this is the opportunity, right, for our folks to see what they're doing there They've done some great things from a facility standpoint under Doc's leadership. And, they've hired a great coach that has a great background professionally and collegiately. So they're trending and the trajectory's up for that program. We feel it's a great alliance. And we're going to establish it and do big things with this one.
And you know what? To piggyback off that, not only that, but if you really pay attention, we're cutting out a third party. What we're doing is creating a legacy classic. And because we feel that we could do it ourselves and really capitalize on a lot of the things that others capitalize on our behalf. And so, and listen to Dr. Allen. He just said, like, he's taking a visit here to Huntsville, and I'm doing the same in Nashville. We're working this thing together, and it's not just a game. It's a classic. And we're viewing it as that. And this is something that I think is going to be beneficial for Nashville and Huntsville. So we're excited about this opportunity. And that's the way we're looking at it, as an opportunity.
I really, really appreciate the framing. I'm going to ask one question and jump right back to Charles and let him follow up with a question. I have had an opportunity to kind of follow both programs. I work quite a bit with Dr. Bryant and would like to work with Dr. Allen in terms of what you're doing. But I've noticed what you've done on the basketball side, particularly some of your non-conference games. I know we can get money heavy, and there's a rationale for that necessary. But I've noticed that Tennessee State went over to Atlanta to play Howard in the basketball classic. Atlanta, big market, certainly have a lot of HBCU fans. I'd imagine that was purposeful. You already talked about the fact that y'all played basketball, men's and women's, on home and away every other year, which is really nice. Just this year, I saw that Alabama A&M did a classic, if you would, on campus in basketball, where they brought in 3 other schools, including the HBCU, South Carolina State. I'm asking this to kind of get the question, how unique is it at the FCS level for 2 institutions to enter into a 4-game agreement? What you just noted is essentially creating your own classic home and home versus just a general home and away for 2 years. Why was that important? And can you share with us, is this something like new, and could this potentially be the way to go for other programs, starting with you, Dr. Allen, and then you can follow up, Dr. Bryant?
Yeah, so it's very unique. Standard or conventional alliances are home and home, but I think in the FCS space, I don't think I know, it's important when you have a neighboring institution that is doing things not only athletically but from an academic standpoint, that they're functioning and have a vision and carrying out the mission of the institution, like your institution. That's where you're trying to schedule those institutions, because it's very important. I know it's important to our president, and I don't want to speak for Dr. Brown, but I know it is for his as well. And so when we had, I do think you would see this, you'll see this continuing in this space, because we've been in a space where there's, like Doc said, there's always been a third party. And with the third party promoter, you get into the situation where you're splitting revenues. And so we're built, a lot of our programs are built now from a functionality standpoint to market, promote, or control that space. And so this gives us the ability to do that. Even if we brought in a promoter or someone to really handle some of the aspects, we could agree upon that, and we can look at, scaling that. So both institutions can benefit from that. So long-winded answer, but I do think that you'll get to these series more so. We had an opportunity to play in Travis's game in Atlanta, which was a challenge against us and Howard. I would like to see the basketball space continue, but I'd like to see like NIT type events that are sanctioned through the NCAA for just the HBCU institutions, right? Postseason play. I've always said there's opportunities, even looking at what would it be like if you had postseason play for HBCUs in the football space. I know you have the Celebration Bowl, but why can't the Celebration Bowl culminate a playoff leading up to the bowl game and give the first round bye to both the SWAC leader and the MEAC leader, right? And establish a playoff because our folks, we travel. We're going to get on the road just like they do at PWIs. And so if it exists, I don't see why these spaces can't be mirrored because they would generate a lot of revenue from an economic impact standpoint for the institutions.
Fascinating. Great information. Wow. Dr. Bryant?
Yeah, I echo that, man. But, think about it. We're and Doc Allen, I'm not sure what the payout was for you going to the FCS playoffs, but it's hard for me to believe that you will get access to $1 million at the FCS games. Now at the Celebration Bowl, that's what, both teams have access to that $1 million. And even if it's payout of $850,000 per school, I believe that that's the route that we need to take. Is exactly what you said. That's the route we need to take. Because if you look at the fan base of FCS schools, the SWAC, the MEAC, like the SWAC, I'll speak on the SWAC. Our fan base, they're coming. At Tennessee State, they're going to come. And so that's what we need to capitalize on, because our fan base is stronger than any. FCS, of course, FBS is a little different, but that FCS, our fan base is there. And we need to give them what they want. And I think personally, we need to go exactly the route that Dr. Allen was just talking about.
Wow.
Go ahead, Charles.
A really quick question. This is fascinating to me, especially when you talk about the new migration of coming back to the South, Huntsville and Nashville. What is it like from that perspective, being ADs in two burgeoning markets in the South?
Yeah. So, one, we know football is king in the state of Alabama and the state of Tennessee. I mean, playing at a high level.
Just a little bit, huh? Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. They care about it just a little bit, right? And I don't care if it's Pee Wee level, Pop Warner, all the way through the high school, it's grassroots. They do a phenomenal job, great coaches, and people care about it. And you can look back through the history. And so, and then you're starting to see basketball rise as well. And so in these respective cities, there's an identity. They're Rocket City. We're in the land of go to sunshine here. We call it Roar City. But there's, from a marketing aspect, there's a lot to offer, because they are cities in which people want to go to. They want to see. They want to learn more about those respective cities, being Huntsville and Nashville, Tennessee. And I do think that aspect of it is very important when you're talking about games like this, because you want people to come in early and you want them to leave late. Yes. And then once these games, once we get it on the map and they start being played, I really think you'll start to see city leaders and corporate sponsors reach out and say, hey, how can we be a part of that? Because we see what it's driving. We see it's driving foot traffic to black-owned businesses. We see it's driving foot traffic and economic impact in terms of our hotels and eateries, because you got two destination cities, but you also got two prominent HBCUs that reside in those cities. And we're going to play a little football on Saturday. So it's, man, I'm excited for it, as you all hear. Enthusiasm. And,
you got me signed up. I'll be there to cover it. Dr. Brian, your take.
Come on, first of all, come on. You got to come. Don't say that you're coming and you don't come.
But I already look. I got what's nice for me, and I'll let this in. My best friend, his two younger brothers. One, the youngest one, rest in peace. But both of them are alumni. One is still in Nashville, Alan Williams. So he's gonna make sure I get to Nashville. Then my wife is a graduate of Alabama A&M.
Yes,
much of a family. He's gonna make sure I get to Huntsville. Trust me, this one is baked in. That's why I wanted to make this happen, because it was so important to folks that are important to me.
Yes,
and obviously, I have a tangent to other HBCUs, mainly here in the state of Texas, but sometimes it's bigger than that. And when it comes to family, I'm going to make it work. So I wanted to get this in. So if you would, Ryan, go ahead and follow up and then we'll give you all to have a chance to give closing statements to make sure we allow you to get back to
Well,
checking out your teams and doing the work that you do.
I think both cities will benefit. I'll just talk about Huntsville. We're looking at the city assisting in this game and the sports commission. So when we talk about economic impact, we look at, okay, of course, heads and beds, right? And so we know that they will come from Nashville to this game. And so what we're going to do, what we're trying to do, since we announced it, we are going to include all of our constituents in the city so that this is just not an Alabama A&M game. And I know Dr. Allen is doing the same. This is a game that is going to be community built and fed. So we're going to really hone in on the local businesses and let them know, once we start showing the data of the impact that we have as a whole and then coming down, we have, when I tell you we have leverage, and we're going to use that leverage to really magnify this game and make this one of the biggest that's coming to Huntsville, and I know in Nashville as well.
And I love talking strategy. Appreciate that, Dr. Bryant. And now talking with Dr. Allen, the strategic framework that he's put in there, it's exciting. So I'm going to give you a chance, Dr. Allen, as well, to provide a closing thought for the interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Just appreciate the relationship and value it that me and Dr. Brian have built over really the last 3 years.
Yeah.
You talked about, hey, how do you schedule? Well, first you have to have relationships.
Yes.
You got to have them with the right people that understand the economics of sports and what they're trying to achieve for their respective departments. And so it's just a blessing. I've had an opportunity to meet Doc, and we've been aligned on one accord on producing revenue opportunities and really special events for our respective programs. So thank you for that. But again, I'm excited about the opportunity. Doc mentioned just working with city officials, CDC. We're aligned there as well, and just leveraging what we know was data analytics. When we look back at our John Merritt Classic, the highest number of attended games were the games against A&M. It was
nice.
Yeah,
it is
20 to 30. That was the range, but I mean, it sometimes creeped over 30s when I did my research, and so the proximity of the cities, it makes sense. And so we're just going to continue to do our part, getting on their radio, getting the word out, doing the things that we need to do to really promote and market the first game, because I think if we get out the gate right, I think it will pay dividends to really assisting and increasing and enhancing the experience and the attendance in their marketplace. And so I'm all about that. So I'm working my butt off, man, to make sure that we do our due diligence and capitalize on the announcement so I could tag it and give the baton to my man in Huntsville, because I know he's going to do great things with it as well. As you've seen, he's done when he plays Alabama State and the great classic they have in Birmingham. And then I know he's aligned in Mobile. And so these are things that are intentional, but they're things that have been done because we're just in a space where we got to create not only a great experience for our young people, but we got to make it make sense for our institutions to fund athletics.
Yes, no doubt. And I see what you're doing with A&T, previously Howard, even bringing in Norfolk State. So good moves. With that being said, I'm going to close it on this one here. You also talked about the academic side of the house as a dean, a professor. I really appreciate both of you doing that. But I'm going to push somebody on this one. We got Dr. Cavil. We got Dr. Allen. We got Dr. Bryant. We have Professor Bishop. He's doing his dissertation phase. So, Charles, gentlemen, let him know. Push forward. Tell him
Let's go. Dr. Bishop, let's go.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, a terminal degree, just to have that in your pocket. Yes, it's opened up so many doors for all three of us, I know. And it, I did it. I got 2 kids. And so I said, hey, I want my kids to understand that if there's in the academic space, Pops is gonna push it where there's no other degree to get. So just
Right.
you doing that, and a lot of our young people look up to all three of us because we know the importance of that. So great stuff you're doing there, brother.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. With that, we'll take our last break, come back on the other side, let these gentlemen get back to it in terms of watching the teams, the women's and men's program. We'll certainly be watching ourselves to give some updates, but thank you. You have a place anytime you want to get information out, you can do it right here. With that, we'll take our last break, come back on the other side, and close it out.
Thank you.
Let's face
Thank
it,
you.
shopping for insurance can be time consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?
There's a shot to right. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
Compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We have Charles Bishop, Brandon King, getting back into it. We're going to do the last part of the segment, get some updates. Let's do some scores before we get in the dialogue and get Brandon King's thoughts on the interview, if he would. When we talk about those scores, just came to an end for OVC in terms of Tennessee State. Tough one for the women as they continue to fight. They lost to Eastern Illinois as they were on the road 65-47. Just some updates on that side in terms of the SWAC. Giving some updates, we'll see if Alabama A&M is faring a little better since we just had Dr. Bryant. They are up by 7 at half, 34-27. You have Texas Southern that is up over Southern end of the first, so it's still early, but they're up 12-9. You have Prairie View up over Grambling with 20 seconds left in the first quarter, 16-14. You have Bethune-Cookman at home over Jackson State early in that game. It's at the half, 28-23. You have Valley trailing at home to Alabama State 36-31 with 9:40 left in the third. And you have Alcorn State on the road at Tallahassee against FAMU. Close one here, nip and tuck, just about to end the third with 39 seconds left. The Braves are up 46-44 over the Rattlers. Brandon, what did you think in terms of this series, the interview? Is this something that you're excited about, or is this just another matchup?
Oh no. I'm looking. No. Look, anytime we can get more HBCUs on the schedule at Tennessee State, I am all in favor of it. Especially, this matchup. So it's something I'm really looking forward to. I thought y'all did a tremendous job on the interview and really listening and getting some of the insight in terms of the framework and how everything came together and some of the plans that they have in terms of the games going forward and how possibly this could even be a template for other institutions to meet up moving forward. Look, maybe this could be the setup for that TSU game that I've been pushing for the past 2 years.
Great point, and way to put in another plug. I like the way you did that.
Well, look, I know y'all
obviously
I know y'all got the ear of the people who can make that happen. So I figured I'd just throw it out there again.
Yeah, don't put me on the spot. I try to be low key. I do my best work in the silence in the back room. When it happens, only the chosen few that kind of know and be like, "Well, Dr. Villa got another one." I don't need everybody knowing the business. That would get you in trouble. Some of these folks act like they got to be out front on all the credit. I don't need all that. I just need to know it happened. Those that need to know. With that being said, Charles, I want to get your take in terms of, obviously we saw what took place with the Southern Heritage Classic and the challenge that it has. But to come this on the back door of this, and you got it teased for those that follow Alabama A&M, their show that they did, Dr. Brian came on there and said that we're working on something that he believes we're going to be able to close out in regards to his fans being excited. But when you look at the combination, do we see something changing? You also have the fact that the announcement was made that Morgan State is going to play Miles College in the Circle City Classic. We've seen that a couple of years ago with FCS D1 versus D2 matchup in Chicago Classic. Obviously, AD Drew this year and previous years, we've seen the Howard and Morehouse Classic. Are we going to see more of these what we call the previous traditional classics where you would have two FBS programs? Are you seeing that they're going to have to go in a different direction based on maybe the cost restraints associated with it?
Well, I think that's what you're seeing. I mean, if it makes financial sense, I think everybody has I want to say sort of balancing the tradition part versus the economic sense part. But economic sense is winning out. Sometimes you might lose tradition along the way for something that creates sort of a new space, and we're starting to see what that new space, some new rivalries, or renewing some old rivalries, if you will, with Tennessee State and Alabama A&M. But I think it's unique when you talk about Morgan State Miles, when you talk about Morehouse and Howard, traditional blue blood sort of names within the HBCU space. But it's unique and it's exciting to start to see some of these matchups come together and to see these ADs sort of I guess put together a different financial framework, if you will, or a different framework that you start looking at some of these new classics.
Yeah, I think you put it the perfect way. A different framework on Classic, which will become this fourth iteration of Classics. When we put it out there and study in the class, we talk about the three forms of Classics. The Classics with the promoter. You have your Classics where the two institutions partner. Usually those are rivals, talking more like the Florida Classic, the Magic City Classic that they mentioned, as well as the Bayou Classic. And then you have what this third iteration where folks started bringing their own classic, honoring oftentimes coaches and bringing them on campus. And now you may have this fourth iteration where you see some version of FCSD2, whether it's home neutral site or maybe even now we're talking about a fifth iteration of the Classic where you see a series of games played on home teams in terms of creating that same fairness between a Classic and maybe homecoming type event. Last thing, I'll get you out of here on this one. Brandon King, I want to ask you a little bit on the basketball side of this. Asked Mickey Allen about the Atlanta Classic playing home and home with Tennessee State in basketball, and he talked about maybe seeing a little more of that on the basketball side, men's and women's. What are your thoughts in general about that from a Tennessee State fan's perspective? What are your thoughts in seeing it maybe as well?
I think, again, it kind of goes into my same thoughts in terms of football. And I think really when you look at the Howard matchup, and there was a lot of buzz around that. And I think, from a basketball perspective, matchups like that can kind of give the program and the interest in it a jolt in the arm, get more eyes on it, and ultimately more potential recruits on the program. Because when you get in those type of matchups, you get not only the eyes of the fans, but potentially the eyes of players who may be kind of looking at your program, and that may help it to see it in a new light. So if they can, kind of structure these types of matchups and whatnot, then I'm definitely all for it.
Good stuff. I appreciate you. With that, gentlemen, we're going to call it a show. Let Roy get back to it as he's trying to close stuff out with Mel over there at the Daikin Stadium, getting prepared for everything starting tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with the Cactus Jack Classic. Thank you for listening to Dr. Cavill's HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavill, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop, Brandon King. We had an 80 Drew going all the way out to San Francisco and California. So we brought you the mix of what we see of HBCU sports today with the interviews of Dr. Bryant and Dr. Allen. That's Dr. Paul Bryant and Dr. Mickey Allen. Hope you enjoyed that perspective and all that information, along with two students from Spelman giving you updates there. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, right here on the Black College Sports Network, BCSN, my JBN. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavill. That's DrKenyattaCavil on Facebook, Instagram, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube and Facebook. Dream big, continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles?
Of course.
Brandon?
Lecture.
Make sure you catch Brandon oftentimes on Wednesday with Dave as they do the Independent Report, where you can get more information on Tennessee State, North Carolina A&T, and Hampton. Dismissed.